Our next topic is counting. Okay, so the casting methods will discuss after the counting topic. Okay, so this is not that much important. Okay, so this maximum interview questions will come the from counting, controls, inventory transactions and items. Okay, and these topics, and these four topics the interview questions will come mostly. So we'll try to cover up this. Okay, and let's see. Okay, fine. So the counting, if you see the word counting, it is something like you have on hand quantity. Okay, and for verification, for validation, verification, you'll do some counting, right? You will count how much it is, how much it is there. Just like someone is given some amount to you, he has to give the some amount to you, and he given the amount to you, and you will count whether same amount is there or not, right? So that is generic word counting, correct? Counting. So when it comes to business perspective, when it comes to business perspective, and they are maintaining on-hand quantities, okay, everything. And sometimes how rarely we see issues in our organizations, right? The business side, the physically the quantity they will move or they'll sell out, but in the systematically the entry was not happen. For example, from Bangalore to Hyderabad, maybe there are some request came, either phone call or either email or either some service ticket, some ticket came, and the business user shipped the product. Mean physically they have loaded it into the truck and they have shipped out, but they are not maintained that entry in the application. That transaction, that material transaction, they have not performed in the application. They missed it. It's been a week, it's been a month, even it's been a quarter, even it's been a 6 months, 1 year. What will happen? If no one not taken any action, then what happens? You're not maintaining application proper way. At end of the year, how do you validate? How do you validate your inventory valuation reports? Okay, how do you know your revenue? How do you know how much quantity you produced, where it is, if you not maintain in proper way? Like, say, intentionally no business will not do that, but if any mistakenly happen, how do you rectify? So those all things will be rectified in counting. Okay, counting. So basically the counting, the audit people will involve. Okay, in every company, if you take every company, there will be a internal audit team. So this internal audit team, there are again two different audits: internal audit, government audit. Government also will come for audit. If you remember, uh, some companies are faced huge penalties. Okay, I think we don't need to discuss those topic. Basically, the government also will come for auditing actually. Okay, for any company, they come for auditing. So in that case, they will check all their in-hand inventory quantities, how much it is, and they'll firstly, when government is coming for auditing, they'll take all inventory valuation reports, inventory reports, financial reports, and everything. Okay, if you take finance audit, right? What they do, physically how much they have cash, and in the system on the application how much they are showing, and how much they are paying tax. Okay, everything they will verify. And there is another audit where it comes to items. Okay, items. Okay, when item quantity, how much item quantity is there and how much is there in the system level, this they will compare. Okay, this they will compare. So here, as I said, right, one person is send the item, physically send the item from Bangalore to Hyderabad organization. Okay, but they have not made the entry in the application. What will happen? It is not matched. The physically available quantity and system quantity is not matched. Okay, is not matched. So it will be identified in the counting level, saying that so and so organization, so and so sub inventory, and even it is so and so locator, it doesn't have quantity, but in the application it is showing the quantity. It will raise a concern to specific warehouse manager, then that specific warehouse manager will give instruction to the warehouse people who actually working there, like you can say warehouse coordinators, warehouse supervisors. Right, then warehouse supervisor will go and check and verify. They will, even if they require, they will go and conduct some small meeting, and they will verify where the quantity gone. Okay, and if they rectify this, yes, this transaction was happened, but it might not tracked in the application. So during the time, either they go for performing the transaction, or they go for adjusting will be happen here. So the adjustment again will happen in a few small quantity. Um, for example, you are like physically available 1,000 quantity. Okay, 1,000 quantity, and like just assume physically available 999 quantity, but in the application it is available, uh, it's available might be 1,000 quantity. Okay, 1,000 quantity, and it is a very small piece, small cost of item. Okay, maybe you can say it is in within 5,000, okay, or within 1,000 item. So in that case, some adjustment they can perform, it is allowed. Okay, very small price of items, okay, it's allowed. In that case, if they do adjustment, right, the physically available quantity and system quantity will be matched. Okay, matched. Okay, now you have some understanding, right, what is counting. Hmm? What is counting, you have some understanding now, right? So if you take any I isn't understand, or do you need some more examples? Can anyone confirm, please? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you can understand.
Okay. Okay, then we'll proceed further. Okay, this is basically counting. Okay, counting functionality. Again, so we will be having two types of counting methods. Okay, two types of counting. So one is physical inventory counting. Okay, another one is cycle counting. What is physical inventory counting? So physical inventory counting is something like very rare links, once in a 6 months, once in a uh, so once in a year, they will perform physical inventory counting. Okay, counting methods. Once in a year or once in a 6 months, they will perform physical inventory. Okay, and cycle counting, it's like you can say regularly they will do counting. So basically, where regular counting will be there, can you just give me some example? Regularly, in which business they will do counting at when they're going for closing the shop, or if you take just shop example, when they're going for closing the shop or closing the manufacturing activity, at end of the day they'll do counting. So what kind of business they do regular counting?
Expensive
Uh,
items.
It's very like expensive items, they do regular counting. At end of the day, they do regular counting. So if you observe, if you notice any jewelry shops, when before closing the shop, right, they'll close everything. The shop they will be closed, and inside the people will be there. What they do? They will do counting whether system quantity and physically available quantity, like whatever it is, chains, rings, or long chains, whatever it is, items. Okay, whether it is matched or not, that kind of counting they do every day. They do like before closing the shop. Okay, they'll be having some 30 minutes to 1 hour a counting cycle. They will perform the counting cycle, and they will mention everything, and they'll go. So that's how they do. Okay, counting activity. Okay, 1 second. Yeah. Okay. So cycle counting is for that purpose actually. Okay. Regularly, they'll do counting. It's a very expensive, huge expensive item. That's why they do perform counting activity. And physical inventory counting, it's an optional. Either you can go for quarterly counting, 6 months, half yearly, or 1 year counting. They can perform. Okay. So the difference is between these two, right? When you going for physical inventory counting, maximum they'll conduct physical inventory counting cycle um, uh, in maybe weekends. Okay, in one weekends. When they're doing this physical inventory counting, they'll stop performing the transactions in the inventory. They'll stop all the transactions. They'll stop the production. They'll stop the moving the quantity. All those activity they will stop, and they'll do perform counting activity. Okay. So when it is cycle counting, it's not required. Even still the transactions are going on, they can do perform counting activity. And again here you will be having a flexibility in cycle counting where you will be having ABC classes. So that ABC classes again, you can assign, okay, for example, in jewelry shop only. Okay, jewelry shop only, A class items they will go for more than the item price will be 2 lakhs. If item price is more than 2 lakhs, they will assign this is A class item. If item price is below 2 lakh, they will assign B class item. If item price is below 1 lakh, they will assign C class item. So again, for this classes item, they can give schedule. Like for example, the C class item, the rings, you can say, you can go for the rings. Rings are maximum below 1 lakh only, right? So the rings, they will perform once in a week. Okay. And B class item, they'll perform once in a 3 days, they'll perform. But A class item, the whatever huge more than 2 lakh item, they'll perform every day. That kind of flexibility also we have. We can assign the item classes and we can perform. Okay, we can perform. That kind of flexibility is available in cycle counting. Okay, here you don't need to stop the transactions, but here when you're doing this physical inventory, you have to stop the transactions. Okay, and here some tags will generate. Physical inventory tags will generate. So the tag, you will see when we go and see, right, transactions, you will see the tag number generation and everything. Okay, the physical inventory you can perform organization and sub inventory also. So here the some theory I have given. Okay, so the purpose is to count physical quantity and system quantity and the organization within organization wise and sub inventory wise. You can even go for organization and sub inventory. So we can perform adjustments if any differences are found between physical inventory and system count. As I tell one example, right? You have like 999 quantity physically available, but system it is available 1,000 quantity. Also one quantity difference is there. That case, adjustment you can perform adjustments. Okay, and again, if adjustment is exceeded some setting up tolerance again it is you can set tolerance based on quantity based on inventory value means the item price. Okay, the inventory value based on inventory value you can go and set up approvals. Okay. So we will perform like as I mentioned here inventory once in a year or twice in a year we perform this one. So it's mainly what purpose, auditing purpose. So okay, it is auditing purpose. And when government audit comes we should be make sure when our government audit is coming, right? What they do is they will be having internal audit team. So this internal audit team task is this only. They will be having maybe five to 10 members internal audit teams. So these internal audit teams will task is to go all their warehouses across the world, okay, and they'll do counting. They'll make sure everything is correct. Our business is running, everything is correctly, perfectly. When be like avoid, this is to avoid penalties from the government, right? This is to avoid penalties from government. So when we talk about again audit, there will be a, like inventory audits, finance audit, everything will be there. Sales audit, purchasing audits, everything will be there in the organizations. Okay, fine. So what we do, can we start today or will start tomorrow? How many minutes we have? I think we have 15 minutes. So what we'll do is we'll go and create a setup. Okay, we'll go and set up in the sense here. Just we need to maintain some items. Okay, and configuration is something like while you creating a physical inventory itself, it's a you have started counting. Okay, there is no specific setup for this. Like same as inventory controls, we go and set up in organization level, right? Same way, there is no setup for counting methods. You directly go and start a counting activity. That's it. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll go and define items. Okay, if you see this some example I have given here. Okay, and we used it. Let me, I'll go and define, we'll go and define three items and we'll maintain a system quantity. Okay, this up to here, from here to here we'll go and maintain. And physical inventory, okay, when we start physical inventory, right, then we'll you will discuss this. Okay, and the tolerances which is showing here, it is something like setting up approval tolerances. For example, if you see here, the system quantity, application quantity 100, but physically available quantity 92, and I set up tolerance, negative tolerance is 3 percentage. 3 percentage. When it is 3 percentage, it will be 97 only. Okay, so this 97, see, this the 97, and the physically available quantity is 92, so which is not within the range. See, this should be, this quantity, physical quantity should be within this two range, negative and positive tolerance range. If this is the range, then you don't need approval. If it is exceed this range, exceed or below this range, then it will go for approval process. So this is setting up approval process actually. Okay, so very easy if you understand. Okay, very easy. So what we'll do now, we'll go and define up to here. Okay, so no worries, the tolerances and all will go and discuss in detailly when we start in physical inventory counting definition. Okay, fine. Now let's go and define three items. Items, items. ABC, ABC, laptop. I'll define laptops only. Okay. Triple six. Let me maintain some zeros here. Two zeros. Triple six. Tools. Finished good. Done. For counting and all, right? Counting and all. This is for cycle count. It will automatically enable. Okay. Cycle count enable. It will automatically enable. But there is no setup actually for counting. Okay. There no setup required. Fine. Just save it. Save it. Assign to org. Assign to org. In a similar way, define other item. Triple seven. Triple seven. Triple seven. age. You can even go with a defaulted UOM also. That is fine always. Okay. Go tools, copy from finished code. Okay. Save this and assign to org. Assign to org. Come here. Same way other item. 888. 888. Each finished code. Save this and assign to org. Okay, assign to org. Fine. Three items I have defined. Now let me go and increase the quantity. Okay, let me go and increase the quantity. To increase the quantity, we have miscellaneous transaction, right? When we start a purchasing model, you won't see this transaction. We won't perform. Okay, but when we are discussing inventory model, we have example to do transaction and all this only miscellaneous receipt only. Okay, in purchasing side, we'll raise the purchase order. Okay, to actually get the quantity from supplier, like component quantity and all. In purchasing model, we'll go and create component items, like which ABC has to buy raw material to manufacture laptop. Okay, raw material we will buy. But inventory, discussing inventory, we always go and choose, okay, miscellaneous receipt. I'll increase in this sub inventory. So how much quantity as per the example? 100 quantity, 100. So the unit cost something like how much amount you spent for each item. For each item, how much amount you spent for manufacturing. For this a laptop, right? For example, for this one, I spent 50,000. Okay. We'll make this, this is just a small item. So that's why the cost is 1,000, 1,200 or 1,500. But this is a laptop, right? So I maintain 50,000. Okay. 50,000. Here it is 10, 105, 1019, double three. If you know the combination, you can just enter. That's fine. Okay. Done. Shift F5. The above one will copy. So here also quantity it's a 200. 200 and this will be maybe 60,000. I can say 60,000 I spent. Shift F5 and this is 888. Same sub inventory and 300. Okay, it's like 70,000. 70,000. Same. Okay, save it. Fine. Three items I have defined. Okay, and I have saved. Now if you want to go and check, no need to go and check on hand quantities. So yeah, it's fine. Now let me go and show you counting. So there is, when you go to the counting function, you will be having cycle counting, physical inventory counting. Okay, so this is something now I'm not aware of this. Okay, replenishment counting. This replenishment counts, it is saying that basically we have these two. Okay, cycle counting and physical inventory counting. So let's see, if we have time, then we will explore this. Okay, basically these two are the main. Okay, these two are the main. Let's go to the physical inventory. Physical inventory, just as I told you, right? There is no setup. There is no setup or organization level or something. It just like, just if you are going for physical inventory, like it means that you started physical inventory counting. So that's the meaning of it. Okay. So once you're in this form, just click on new. Click on new. So once you click new, so this form will appear. Okay. So where you will maintain counting. For example, I'm doing counting ABN. For example, it's like they'll maintain like this. Okay, pi, physical inventory. Okay, physical inventory hyphen APN, where it is in ABN, Noida organization, when you're performing. Okay. This is quarter 3, right? Quarter 3, 4, right? Quarter 4, right? Quarter 4. Now we are in quarter 4, right? If you think about the financial, like starting from January to December 31st, like we are in quarter 4. Okay, quarter 4, like this they'll maintain quarter 4. Okay, like this the naming. Okay, this is the naming ABN physical inventory. If they require, they'll specify a full name of the full name, and this one is enough, quarter name. Okay, they can even specify the date. Okay, 14, when they starting, 14 or city to, or they can maintain 14 to 14 to, they just assume they'll taking 3 days, 16 October. Basically weekends they perform. Okay. Okay, October, like this they can maintain the naming. Okay, or they can maintain the month 10 2025, like this they will maintain. So this will again tell you when it is, the month and year. Okay, fine. And just tab out. So once you tab out, the fields will enable here. The description level you can maintain exact name. Okay, exact name you can maintain physical inventory counting APN organization. Okay, Q4, quarter 4, 10 2025. Okay, fine. This is the date. Okay, when you are creating this date, when you are going to start. Okay, that is the date. And come down. So approvals, you will be having a required if out of tolerance. This is like required when it is required. So if you see always, it doesn't matter even if you find a single quantity, always you required approval. Never, even if you find 100 quantity, then approval is not required. That's the meaning of never. Okay, never. Always, even if you find a single piece difference between physical quantity and system quantity, you need approval from warehouse directors or warehouse managers. Okay, if out of tolerance, if out of tolerance, maximum companies will choose this if out of tolerance. So what is tolerance? In when we discussing your item topic, we discussed receiving control topics, receiving early days, late days, receiving close tolerance, something we discussed tolerance. It is something like you will set up a positive and negative tolerance, and whenever the transaction quantity or value is between that tolerance, then approval is not required. If it is exceeded within tolerances, then approval is required. If it is exceeded, if it is below the tolerance, then approval is required. Okay, so here you will be having two again, quantity and value. So quantity is something like each piece. I told you, right? Example, like 999 quantity is available physically, but system quantity 1000 quantity. Okay, so when you're going in that way, that is you are referring each piece means each quantity, one quantity, two quantity, like that. And what is value? So value is something like that inventory cost value. Okay, when it is inventory cost value, when they go for this one, right? when it is a very small price of item manufacturing, okay, in that case they go for, they only concern about the value in that case. For example, if it is something like screw, something like screw, that's like just within 50 rupees or within 100 rupees, right? That you don't need to go for quantity. Like if you found five quantity differentiation, do you want the system to trigger the approval to warehouse director or warehouse manager? Not required, right? Not required. See, in those kind of businesses, they go for value. It doesn't matter quantity for them. It's a matter of value. What is the inventory value? Is it like more than 10,000, more than 20,000? The differentiation. Okay. With that value, they will go. Again, how the value will be calculated? If you remember, when we do this transaction, we have entered our unit cost, how much amount we spent from our pocket. We spent for first triple six item, we spent 50,000 for each item 50,000, and triple seven item we spent 60,000, and triple eight we spent 70,000, right? Each item cost. In the same way, here it will refer item cost value, inventory value. Okay, it will refer inventory value. Okay, fine. Now what I'll do is I'll go for here 2 or 3, or your wish, anything you can go. Even you can go 3 and 3, 3 and 3 you can go. Your wish. It's again business will decide how much tolerance and everything. Okay, fine. So I'll go with this 3 quantity. If it is found, for example, I have 100 quantity systematically available and physically available 95. So in 95 is below the tolerance, right? 95 quantity is below the tolerance. You have physical, like you have system 100 quantity, but physically you have 95. So it is exceeded the tolerance. 3% meaning is what? 3 quantity. When you list 3 quantity, it's like 97 quantity only. Correct? Or if you have 200 quantity systematically, in system you have 200 quantity, but physically available 190 quantity only, and you set up here 3%. Now tell me 3% how much it will come. I have 190 quantity. Will it go for approval? Hmm? See, I'll repeat again. Uh, Systematically, I have 200 quantity, but when we count in the application, when we count in the organization physically it is available 190 only. Means there is 10 quantity variance. In this case, I set up here tolerance 3 and here it is 3. So in this case, will it go for approval or it will automatically adjust?
It will go for approval
Yeah, because
because
approval.
short quantity is more.
Hmm. It is not within this range, right? Right. Within this range, it's not within this range. It will go for approval. Okay, it will go for approval. If you have 194, 195, then approval is not required. Means 3% is something like 6 quantity up to 194. If you have, then you are in safe zone. Means like approval is not required. In the same way, this is like this is negative case. That was negative case. So this was positive case. Positive case, like if you have, for example, same example only 200 quantity in the application, but physically available 210 quantity. The positive case, 210 quantity. Will it go for approval?
Yes, it will go for
It
approval.
will go for approval. Okay. So that's the meaning of, that's the purpose of these tolerances. Okay. If you have 206 quantity, then you are in safe zone. Like your approval, it won't require any approval as per this setup. The positive case, a negative case also we maintain same only, same number only. Okay, same 3. Okay, so inventory value is something like, for example, you have inventory value, you maintain inventory value systematically, it is available. Systematically it is available. First let me set here. I think I'll set 20,000. Positive is 20,000. So negative would be 10,000. Okay, fine. So here another case. So in the application, it is available 50 lakhs. Inventory value is 50 lakhs.